Let's build.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just let the audience build and let the fives and fives and
Just got the email here. It says YouTube. Dawg2Dawg January 10th is live.
You got an email?
Yeah, because I subscribe to the Blast Network.
Okay, since I don't subscribe to it because I'm like
The head honcho, yeah. I don't think you can subscribe to your own, so yeah.
So a buddy of mine, Joey, told me a couple weeks ago, yeah, man, he goes, I caught the show, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because you invited me. I'm like, I didn't say invited you. I don't know. So people get invited that way, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
wow. Glad I know.
Got some ideas for some future shows too, man.
Okay. Just wait a minute or two and let people let them catch up.
Guess I could pull it up.
Got it on like 3 different places, 4 different places people can watch. The Dawg2Dawg page, the Blast page. Did the cough button work? Oh no, you can hear that. Bad producer. No cough button. They can watch it on my page, they can watch it on your page, they watch it on YouTube channel.
My internet is running like a turd today.
All right, that's it. So we're live on air. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Set up pissy mood. I put that on Facebook, and I am, but we won't go there. We won't talk about it. What we will talk about is, let's use that button. Topics. Tonight's topics. What kind of topics are there? There's the topic button. I loaded so much stuff that we're just going to blast through it, and some will be good, some won't be good, and we'll just whatever.
Just let it roll.
Let it roll, baby. Oh, Nike.
When you said topics, it made me think of, I don't remember if you remember the 80s movie with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. I think it wasn't like Goodfellas. It was something like that. And they just got out of prison, and Kirk Douglas was working in a ice cream shop. A little kid came in and asked about the toppings. And you remember that show? I can't remember. Nice Guys. I think that's what it was called.
Oh, with Kirk.
I'm an old soul, brother. Old soul. Yeah, Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster. It was an 80s movie.
Kurt the dad?
Yeah.
The old man, 100-year-old Kurt.
Yeah, the one you don't know if, I think he died a few years ago, and then you see him on the news, and you're like.
Oh, right, and he's still here.
Yeah.
Hercules. Or one of those guys. Yeah, just to be clear, this is more than just a coffee drink. I poured probably more extra
happy juice
in it, Jesus juice or whatever you want to call it, than I should have, because yeah, dude, I've just not the stars not lining up right now, attitude wise. I mean,
I feel you, brother.
All right, topics.
The topics. Stupid
people. I started to just look at some stuff, and I'm like, just fucking stupid ass people. And
yeah,
right. So Congress has an art fair.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Kid wants to do this. Kid says, hey, that's art. It's free speech. But he won. And that's why it's put up in Congress.
And it got taken down by a congressman, and there's a whole group of them. Yeah, there's a whole group of them that led to get it back on. And I have to be embarrassed at my state because, of course, it's a representative from St. Louis, you know, that
a black man
to get put back up there, and this was painted by a kid, and they say Missouri, but it's pretty obvious it comes from the St. Louis side.
I find it interesting though that the kid painted the cop as a black cop,
as a pig. Yeah.
Well, but the arms, he could have had him. He could have had like peach color. What are we? What are white people? What color would he put?
I used to use the Crayola apricot.
Apricot. He could have put apricot like a white pig, right?
Right.
Pale. He put black arms. Okay. So here we're gonna play a little video. Let's see if I should have just put these to load right away, but I didn't.
Just about an hour or so ago, a group of Democratic congressmen said they're going to rehang the art that depicts policemen as pigs in the U.S. Capitol building. Now, remember, Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter removed this last week. He didn't have permission. He's an old Marine. He said he saw it. He was offended by it. Well, now there's a group who's set to hang this painting up. Now, they say they're going to do it to protect the rights of the student artists that created this. I mean, Tommy, it's the members of the Congressional Black Caucus saying they're standing up for the Constitution. In this particular case, it's really despicable.
Oh, I agree 100%. As a cop, I've been a detective, I've been a Fed. That picture needs to come out of our Capitol. It's ridiculous. You're going after a particular group of people, being the police. The police, we all protect everyone in this country.
Nobody likes.
You want to hang such a piece? That's not art.
A New
That's
York
a despicable
accent.
Piece of garbage that needs to be taken off the wall today.
But
Yeah,
how this
today.
even won some sort of an art
Yankee.
contest so that it ended up in the Capitol to begin with.
Right.
Well, Charles, I'm a former congressional staffer. What happens is that this art exhibit takes place in a tunnel that connects the Capitol to one of the congressional office buildings, and each member conducts their own art competition. So it wasn't all of Congress. I'm a big fan of Congressman Hunter. He served in Iraq for 2 tours, Afghanistan for 1 tour. And if there's someone in Congress who's going to buck the system and protocol to remove this outrageous piece of art, it was Congressman Hunter.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be Representatives Clay from Missouri, Alma Adams from North Carolina, and Cedric Richmond from Louisiana. I just hope they all really reconsider overnight. It is a despicable piece. I understand the First Amendment, but that's not art. And it's certainly not the time to hang something like that. Gentlemen, thank you both for your expertise.
It's been up.
No, that's hate.
4 times today, they said.
Yeah.
4 times. We got $20 trillion in debt. Everyone's effed up with Obamacare being good or bad. The Republicans keep talking about how we're going to repeal and replace. They've had 7 effing years to lay a really plain, right out their plan, and they mother effers still haven't even laid out a plan that everybody can read. They go, no, we've got lots of plans. Show one of them.
Yep.
Now, Obamacare is a bad deal. It's bad. It needs to be repealed. But these dumbasses don't even have a plan laid out that they should have had laid out 6-7 years ago in everybody's face. Number 1 is competition. Duh. But I don't know. Sorry,
No, you're good. That's why we have this show, brother.
Yeah. All right. More stupid people. Jim found more stupid people. I don't even know what I put. Oh, look at these stupid people.
Yeah.
Now I'm not. Congressional Black Caucus. Oh, there they are again, the Black Caucus, cockerels. So this country is like flooding in debt. Wintertime, we got homeless people all over the freaking streets. We got blacks shooting each other. We got whites going freaking nuts. We got everybody, right? And these guys, look at their smug ass faces. What their number 1 agenda is to put a tax on every white working person that goes to the government, and then if you're black, you sign up and they'll send you a check for reparations.
Mhm.
Freaking serious.
Yeah, you're about 200 years too late for that. Or 150, whatever it is. If they were going to do that, they should have done that back when people could actually claim that I was a slave. You know, no one can claim that now.
God almighty.
It's ignorance, and their ignorance is showing.
Stupid people. 50% of America keeps voting these dumbasses back in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I apologize. In the last 8 years, because of these dumbasses, the Democrats have lost over 1,100 state and local and federal seats. So, okay, these dumbasses are. I mean, people aren't. Most of America, even though half of America voted for Hillary more than Trump, overall, people are seeing through this garbage. But my God.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to clean itself up. I think people are tired of it, you know, and I pray that it does start to clean itself up, you know, for ignorance just like this. I mean, come on. Get real, grow up, and get with the age.
Yeah. All right. So I've got more stupid people. And this one I got video of. This one is "Don't touch my sandwich." You hear about this? Don't touch my sandwich. An argument. Look at this. Somebody hit that guy. I bet a cop did. An argument over a grilled cheese sandwich leads to an armed standoff with police. You didn't hear about this?
Mm-mm.
Watch this.
That one
slipped right by you, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing slips past me. Here we go. Next time I'm going to just freaking load these to load. Here we go.
A Dundalk man is behind bars tonight after he shot at his wife through the floor of their row home, according to police. ABC 2 News reporter Cassie Carlisle found out the argument started about unloading groceries and really escalated when his wife took a bite out of his grilled cheese sandwich. Cassie?
Kelly, this frightening series of events had neighbors blocked in their homes, and it all happened while 3 teens were in that home where the shots went off. Court documents describe what led up to a 3-hour standoff Sunday night in Dundalk. That afternoon, Daniel Blackwell's wife, teenage daughter, and
that's the story.
Home from grocery shopping. His wife asked for help unloading the groceries, and they started arguing. Things escalated when she took a bite of his grilled cheese sandwich.
That
in a
pushed
fit
me
of
over the
rage,
edge.
he went down to their basement, where she found him an hour later, lying on the floor, holding a shotgun, ammunition strapped to his body, and other guns lying around him.
Look at those guns.
Neighbors say Blackwell had drunken tirades before, but this time was more serious.
He shot, his wife.
Blackwell's wife said she heard a gunshot, went back downstairs, and Blackwell said it was a firecracker. She went upstairs and told the kids to leave because Blackwell, quote, was going crazy. Blackwell came upstairs to ask if anyone called the police. They were silent, and he went back down to the basement. Then Blackwell shot 3 times through the floor, almost hitting his wife. She said he could hear her walking through the kitchen and was aiming for her. Then she and the kids left the apartment.
Mientras todo ocurría, yo y mis 2 niños estuvimos en el basement.
2 doors down, this mother of 2 young boys barricaded themselves in their basement after the first shot was fired.
Que no le importaba ya nada.
She said Blackwell yelled at officers, "I don't care about anything. I'm 55 years old. Shoot me."
I'm a grown-ass man.
Officers entered the house and arrested Blackwell. Blackwell faces charges of attempted first and second-degree murder. He had 15 guns in the home. 4 of them were loaded.
Yeah. I'm a grown-ass man, damn it. Arrest me.
They're going after first-degree attempted murder. I mean, would that be kind of premeditated? I mean, I don't know. I'm not defending that jerk at all. I mean, here's the deal. When me and my buddies get together and go shooting, you know, you don't have alcohol and firearms in the same vicinity at all. I mean, that's ignorance because
Wait a minute.
that's pure ignorance.
Wait a minute. The woman took a bite of his sandwich.
If it was his French fries, I can understand. But the grilled cheese.
He's freaking. You know, my first thought when I was loading this was, I'm gonna load that story because Bill and I need to talk about how we need to approach people and things like more with a more Christian spirit and attitude of people needing help. And then everything just went off the rails, and I'm like, fucking stupid people. Like, I'm just tired of it. But you know, I go, this is bad. Go to church, and on Sunday, I'm sitting there, and I'm freaking all of a sudden taking notes. Did I tell you this last week?
Mm-mm.
We didn't do this last week?
Are you talking about this weekend that when you went to church you were taking notes? Or was that?
I don't know. Did I already talk to you about me?
No,
being nice?
because this is Tuesday.
So
This is our Monday night Tuesday show, or Tuesday Monday night show, or whatever way you pronounce it. But anyway, back to taking notes in church.
Listen to understand. These are my notes. I'm giving myself notes. Listen to understand, not to reply. So people should listen, especially to your spouses, to understand, not listen to reply. Our nature is we listen to things, and our nature is to reply, but we should listen to understand. So that one right there, I should almost turn in my man card for having that thought.
Well, there's something that kind of goes along the lines that me and my wife say to each other all the time. Like, can you hear me? Are you listening to me? Well, I know you're listening to me, but are you hearing me? You know, we say that to each other a lot. Well, I know you can hear me, but are you listening? You know, kind of goes along those lines.
True that. I also wrote a note to myself here. I'm what I do is I'll text myself notes. So I've got them on my phone. Second strike. Ask questions that draw people in. Ask questions that make it about them. As you listen, pray. Fuck. I'm like taking notes like this. I'm like, serious? What is wrong with me?
Dude, something spoke to you on that, man. It was hitting some notes in you that, you know, the Lord thought you needed to hear, and you obviously.
The letters A, B, P. You know what that stands for? ABP?
Always be praying.
Wow. Ding, ding, ding. Prize for Bill. What would it look like if you viewed people different when engaged with them? Not from a worldly view, but from a Jesus point of view. Oh my gosh. So I'm sitting there thinking today when I saw this story about the guy, and he's hurting. I mean, obviously he's hurting. We could chalk it up and go mental illness. Freaking dude's mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could chalk it up and go, wow, there's a deep issue there. He's hurting. People are hurting. We need to be more like Christ-like and really share. But then I come on here tonight and I let everything just get to me today. And I've had, you know, had a family fight with somebody and then another one, and it's just not good, you know? And so then I get affected by that. But as men or as people, I guess we need to talk and hold each other more accountable.
Right.
You know, that's
well,
why
I think you're doing it with yourself right now, man. You're holding yourself accountable, and that's a good thing to do. I mean, I went off in the last couple of days too, and words flew out of my mouth that don't normally. I mean, last night my wife had a day at work that apparently has been about 2 or 3 months worth of buildup, and she let few choice words ago as well, and it's just so I don't know. I think it's just something in the air right now.
God, it must be, huh?
Yeah.
So I was sitting there thinking, I just get so bored, so tired and bored of reading all the thing on Facebook where all of a sudden it's just stupid headlines and it's to grab your attention. And it's always about, guess what Obama did? And Hillary Clinton's going to prison. And Trump, he just put his hands down his pants and just jerked off in front of everybody. I mean, any lie, anything at all. And they're all lies to, whatever. So my thought was one of these notes that's going to cause me to lose my man card again was about this show and about how you post things and do things. And it was, what's your goal? I wrote down, what is your goal, your purpose? Just slash and burn, or to change hearts and minds? If it's the second one, then how do you do that? How do you change hearts and minds? And it's only through example.
Mhm.
But when your example is posting on Facebook or on this show, F this and F that, like I do sometimes, I don't know. Anyways, that's it. Watch. You see this? I just locked it. No more nice notes. I can't. No more.
Those are good things, man. I mean, that's good. That means something was hitting inside of you, and you're like, crap, I got to work on this. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the point, and there's a lot of things we all got to keep working on, and sometimes you slide back, sometimes you do what they call the relapse, and it happens. We're human.
Yeah. All righty then. Let's go back to some show topics.
There we go.
Let's just put that up there just so it looks a little more official. Show topics. Show topics. I have found more stupid people. And some of this no, that's not. Well, it is. The mark of the beast is coming. Do you know that?
Yep, it's already here, man.
Right.
And how they'll implement it is now. There's maybe a lot of people going to argue about this with us, but if it's the RFID chip, to me that's the mark of the beast. I mean, when it gives an example in the book of what the mark of the beast is, you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without it being on your right hand or on your forehead. And they're getting that RFID chip put right in to their right hand. Eventually, all you got to do is scan, and there's your life.
Don't let me forget to ask you this question because I don't want you to forget to answer it. But we're going to go into this for a minute, and then I want to know, not the second, but I want to know why would the chip be bad? But hold on. So what we got here, and I just found, okay, everybody knows about Digital Angel. Maybe you don't, but all they got to do is look it up. And it's basically a chip in a wristband or anything like that, and it helps you track people. Well, the tracking is actually a good thing because if a kid is lost or whatever, you hit the locator button and you can find them. Okay, so that's whatever. It's not an invasion of your privacy as far as that goes. But the chip, they put basically a picture of it on a dime to show you just how small it is, as small as a grain of salt. Well, looking at that, the guy puts it on his fingertip. This I found on, I should really get LASIK surgery so that I don't have to have these damn glasses. And I'm cracking my neck back. Hold on. Look at that. Freaking look like an idiot. 50 billion. Okay, this came out of the Financial the Finance Advocate. This is in a financial website. Okay. Investors, people who want to invest and make lots of money. Okay. If you had bought 1,000 shares of stock in 1980 of Microsoft, you would have been a millionaire 10 years ago. Do the same thing as 1,000 shares of stock of Starbucks. You freaking me, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of coffee stocks. You're fucking stupid. Well, guess what? A millionaire 10 years ago. So they're already advertising that 50 million devices, 50 million in the next 4 years, just getting started. This is what the website's selling. This is what the American economy has been waiting for. The economy will go through the roof. This will be bigger than the internet, is what they're saying. This is Paul I can't say his name, Mapley. He's a legendary Wall Street investor, supposedly. Right. So, looking at this, and he's selling it this way: the greatest innovation in history, 7 times bigger than computers, tablets, smartphones combined. Experts are saying blah, blah, blah. So by 2020, early investors, do you understand why is it important to have investors? Well, the investors think so they can get money, right? The real reason is so you have buy-in. If you have that many people invested in it, they have a stake in making it successful. So now, let's say you have 10 million or 20 million investors. You've automatically got 20 million people sold on having this done, and companies and portfolios and all the shit will have it in their portfolios to make money. So now you got a captive audience who believes in it because they're financially invested in it and they're making profit off their stocks. Tremendous awards as it growth surges 8,000%. It's a smart move by these guys. Smart. Make it publicly traded companies so people have an investment. Paul reveals why 50 billion of these tiny devices will be used in 2020 and how technology behind it will surge a $19 trillion industry. And as Paul says, this is thanks to a little known bill that Congress passed on March 1st. How many people know that Congress did that? Called the Digit Act.
It's also in the Affordable Health Care Act.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that. The FDA.
Well, maybe not this particular one, but they've got something on there that's a chip that you get that has all your medical records in it. So when the ambulance pulls up, all they got to do is scan you if you're in a car wreck. Right.
And the FDA about 8 years ago had already approved Digital Angel and these chips. So the bill ensures that this technology breaks through. Okay. So tell me, Bill, in your opinion, why would this be the mark of the beast? And if it is, why is it so important not to do it, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, it's going to be biblically based. They're gonna market this thing, and it's going to be a thing of convenience. Everyone wants convenience nowadays. How about you don't have to worry about losing your car keys? You don't have to worry about losing your house keys. All you got to do is scan your hand across your front door. It automatically recognizes who you are, lets you in. Same with like I was saying with the it's going to have your medical records on it. That way you don't have to wear the bracelet that says I'm allergic to this, or I'm a diabetic, or I have seizures, or whatnot. It's all on that chip. Something goes wrong, all they got to do is scan. It's going to tell your medical history right there. It's going to be a convenience thing, and it's going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people.
Commercial. You just sold me on it. I want it. Now tell me why it's bad.
That's why they're going to do it. It says in in the good book that is not. That is going to be something that if you get this thing, you're done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you pray and how much you save.
Why?
Because it's the mark of the beast, dude. I mean, it says.
You just named all the things about it.
Oh, well, that's why so many people are going to do it. You know, you can read your Bible and be like, well, if everybody knows what this is, why would they do it? Won't they see it coming? You know, you have to be truly a believer, you know, and you have to, you know, really study stuff and you know, but to me, it's obvious. You
Why
know, maybe that's just
does it cause you to sin? What's wrong? I mean, they're advertising cars. Are cars bad?
No.
Then
No,
why is
but-
it bad? You just named everything good about it.
because that's the one thing that truly, if you do, your soul's going to burn in hell
Why?
in Judgment Day. Because it says it in the good book, and that's God's word, and God's word is final.
The book, the Bible says, if you get
the mark of the beast, you're done. There is no coming back from it.
get this chip that has your, if Granny goes down the street and gets lost, or a kid gets kidnapped, or if a girl gets kidnapped and is out there getting raped, and we can punch a button and find her before she gets raped or before a kid gets killed, why is that bad?
That's not bad in itself.
God
You
doesn't
know,
want that.
that's not bad in itself. You know, if they can do something like that. However, you do not get that chip put on your body, you know, into your body. You know, I've got no problem with chips on credit cards and whatnot, you know, or chips in your car keys. But it's when you put it in your body and you make it a part of yourself, you become part of the one world that, you know.
How about tattoos? Are those the same thing, or are those different than the chip?
I've gotten arguments over that. I've got some myself, you know.
What if that's the mark of the beast?
It's kind of like well, no, that's something totally different, man. It is. Because here's the deal. My tattoo is not going to allow me to not buy, sell, or trade. You know, it's nothing. It is an adamant. I mean, granted, it's kind of frowned upon. I mean, I think in a way because it doesn't adorn your body as, you know, and that, but there's lots of things you could say about that. You could say that about soda. You could say that about all sorts of crap out there.
What you're giving me are indicators of clues that the Bible says the chip might be the mark of the beast, because you're giving me clues, because the Bible says in the end times you will not be able to buy or sell without the chip.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about a cashless society.
And how else are they going to be able to do that?
And therefore, if you, like with my paycheck, I never get a paycheck. I get it automatically deposited.
Direct deposited, right.
Direct deposit. So they direct deposit it into my account, which is registered on the chip, and you scan it at the computer just like you would a card. It's all the same thing. It's just sitting under your skin instead of in your wallet. Okay.
Exactly.
So you're giving me clues and indicators, but you're not telling me why this might be a bad thing.
All I can say is it is talked about the mark of the beast since the Bible was written. You know, it is taught.
Can
I don't know, Tim Bob. You're frustrating me, brother. If you got the answer, you need to tell me.
All right. You know that I do.
Yeah. Well, spit it out. I want to hear yours.
Because you know that I know everything.
You're wise, my friend.
What do you think? I'm not Obama.
You don't say I enough to be Obama.
Okay. All right. So this is my theory. Okay. Your cell phone has a chip in it that's radio frequency, right?
Yep.
And you can locate where it's at, talk to people from across the planet. You can do whatever. It's a chip, radio frequency. Radio frequency also, if it was loud enough or quiet enough, like you can't even hear it, but a dog can, it'd drive them freaking nuts, right? Because that low, they have those low frequency sounds for animals, whatever. It's radio frequency affects your nervous system in your brain and how you act. So Hitler, if you look back they were actually doing studies on radio frequency where they would, Joseph Goebbels and all those guys that are opening people up and touching nerves and causing them to talk and do all kinds of crazy experiments the Germans were doing.
Mhm.
A lot of it with radio frequency. So what is the one thing that God gave you that nobody can take?
Free will.
So people can take your life, your money,
Yeah, they can't take your soul.
can't take your free will. You have the ability to make a choice, yes or no.
Mhm.
What if, just a what if, they put the chip in you and all this stuff is great. They're selling it like they do, well, like we just talked about, all the great things. Why wouldn't you want to do that? What if, through that chip, there was radio frequency that caused behavior modification?
They can too, and they can also off you real quick with it. You know, that like there's lots of, you know, it doesn't take much. I mean, the main thing with me is, you know, I don't want my soul to burn for eternity.
So
You know, life is hard enough. I don't need to go through eternity, and your suckiest day in life is nothing compared to the hell awaits if you get that mark.
but if the real underlying problem, it was behavior modification, and then you lost the ability to choose, and all of a sudden you have a controlled population. You can control prison populations, you can control people, and the one world order and the Antichrist and all of this type of thing. Now you've just given up your free will because you all of a sudden can't choose, because they've turned the dial to cause you to be like, you know, the Westworld women or whatever that TV show was. That's what I think is the real problem with it, because you sold me on it, but you didn't sell me on why not to.
Right. I'm gonna have to pray on that one, brother, because yeah, that's. I mean, you got me good on it, and normally I can defend a lot of things, but for some reason I don't know if you just caught me off guard or what. But no, it's gonna make it sound, you know, the greatest invention ever.
And
You
you
know?
as a Christian and me as a Christian and any Christians out there that said, no, I'm not going to get that, after having just been shown commercial after commercial after commercial about
Mhm.
all these great things, we're going to look like fucking lunatics.
Mhm.
Freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
and it's gonna be even worse because we're not gonna have nothing. We're not gonna have no food. We're not gonna have anything to give these people. You know, to recruit them to our side. All we're gonna have is the word of God in the book. I mean, it's gonna become harder and harder and harder.
And you Christians are Fruit Loops for
Yeah.
believing this. And if your behavior was modified, they wouldn't even know it. The people
Right.
who are in that now day zone or whatever wouldn't even freaking know it. So now talk about the Bible says, you know, I mean, everyone's going to have to suffer different stuff, and the Bible hope to God that it doesn't happen in the middle of winter and blah blah blah. So anyways, that was my big topic for tonight.
That's good stuff, brother, right there. You know, that's one of the reasons why we started this show, I think. You know,
Yeah.
is to talk about topics like this. You know,
Yeah.
because it's good stuff. It gets you thinking. And it's anybody who doesn't have any biblical knowledge at all, or even some that do, you know, that have just turned away and just don't care.
And I'm
That's
not
going to be
saying
a
I'm right.
mistake that you can never, ever take back.
I'm not
know,
saying
it's-
I'm right. I'm
No,
saying
I know.
what if.
Right. Right. No,
And
that's good stuff.
why else would you not do it other than the potential for behavior modification and losing your free will? And we know through cell phones and everything else that radio frequency is pretty damn powerful, because we're doing a show on wireless internet right now.
Mhm.
It works.
Just the convenience of it, you know. I mean, I remember reading about it in the you know, in the Healthcare Act. You know, I think it was like, oh crap, it's been years, but it was like, you know, part
Yeah.
1002 or something like that. or 2001 or some amendment like that was in that bill, and it talked about the chip. Everyone will be required to have that chip for medical purposes.
I remember.
And yeah, I was just like, wow, that's, but you'd be surprised too that, people who aren't Christians will be like, I don't want that crap in my body. They don't know why, but their reason is I don't want Big Brother watching me.
Now, we're not going to do a show tonight about, I'm going to touch on this much of a topic, and we'll do a show about this topic, but we're not going to go in depth about it because it's going to go too long, because it has to do with, I don't know how to pronounce it. Nephilim.
Nephilim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be a good show.
Yeah. So let's just say, and I'm going to touch on this for a second. In the Bible, it talks about they took human daughters as their wives and had children. Okay, that's fine. It says that they took human wives as their daughters as the wives. It says when the flood happened with Noah,
it wiped them out.
It wiped out the whole population, but it says, and
for the most part,
it says they, the Nephilim, were here before and after. So it mentioned and after. If they were here after and they are fallen angels, they have the ability to take on any shape they want. The shape of a spirit, a fish, whatever. That's why they could survive the flood, because they were here after. So,
right. Well, and also to touch in on that, when crap, Noah's understudy, was it Joshua or Jacob?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm drawing a total blank. But anyway, when God spoke to them and said, "Go in and start taking, this land and whatnot, for these are not my people." Those people that were there were Nephilim.
You're talking about Moses.
Well, yeah. Who was Moses' understudy?
Joshua.
Joshua. Okay. Yeah. Joshua, Jacob. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but Joshua. Yeah. When they were going in and taking all these towns and cities and whatnot, those were distant relatives of Nephilim.
So let's say, though, that, God, I shouldn't do this. I'm going to start to go into this. But let's say that, for instance, God created man in his own image, correct? Okay. God created man and woman. What would be the most vile thing that you could do to God, from, if you're the devil, that says, you know what, God, right up yours. I'm going to take your man and woman. I'm going to make the man a fucking woman. I am going to make him a woman. Well, we know that the transgender thing happening movement is like more prevalent than ever, right? We also know that there are a lot of she-males out there, and and they've had the surgery to get the boobs or whatever, and they look pretty freaking real. But there's also a lot of them that are so smoking hot and so definitely female that maybe they really are Nephilim. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have a surgery. I'm just saying, maybe they are actually the devil incarnate, the fallen angels that said, you know what? We know how to totally mess with God and the world and the people, and F you, because the thing that God created in his own image, mankind, I've combined it. And you can go on the internet, you can go on to every single city in America practically. There's a website called eros.com, EROS.com, and they have prostitutes from she-male to male to female to everything, traveling the country and everything. It's all on there. He's not a secret. And you go to Bangkok and Thailand or any city in America, and you've got them all. It's all natural. All I'm saying again is, what if? Okay, so we're not going to get into that tonight. We will, but to make culture normal, the unnormal normal, here's what you do. Things like this. Let's remove that. Let's go here. Maybe it's Maybelline. Did you hear about this? Going to be TV commercials about it.
That's a dude.
Sure it is.
Exciting news for Manny Gutierrez. The young makeup artist has just been named Maybelline New York's first male spokesperson. According to Allure, the beauty vlogger was just announced as Maybelline's newest partner for a series of fun videos for its new Big Shot mascara by Colossal. Gutierrez has a huge online presence, amassing thousands of followers, which is surely a great business move for the company to sell its new products to. The makeup guru expressed his excitement over the opportunity, saying, "I'm thrilled to be able to work with a global brand like Maybelline New York that is recognizing male influencer talent and is willing to shine a spotlight on it."
Okay, that's a teaser for a next subject that we're going to have that on a later show that we just kind of talked about, the Nephilim, the transgender movement, the gay movement, the LGBT, the whole softening of America. And it's to have a man, a boy, doing commercials for Maybelline makeup. And he has tons of followers. So Maybelline, actually, they're announcing their second model.
Maybe she's bored with it. I'm absolutely delighted to be chosen as the second male model for Maybelline. Maybe it's Maybelline. Sweet. Absolutely delighted.
Oh, God, blimey.
Honestly, I don't know where to look.
Now I have seen everything. Really? Have you seen a man eat his own head? No. So then you haven't seen everything.
That's it. I was just teasing you.
I couldn't understand that. It was kind of
cough button. Oh, sorry about that. You can watch it on the replay. That was just a joke. It was a man on there with a beard. Not a beard, but the thing is like, "Hey, I'm the new male model." They're making fun of Maybelline.
Oh, it's true. I mean, it's just, yeah, we'll save that for the next show.
Yeah. Okay, so we are almost done. We're staying on track. Which is pretty good for the way that I started out, being in a real piss-ass mood and not happy, and we're doing okay. I think we're doing okay, Bill. So we are going to go to picks of the day. This is just random pictures that I found either interesting or whatever. Amy Schumer, potato. Amy Schumer, right?
That's about her personality.
Which one is it? I can't really tell which one is a potato or which one is Amy Schumer. They all look like her. Freaking pig. Oh, don't forget, we are going to get to Meryl Streep to end the show, and we're going to do it with a guy named Zoe whatever. You'll like it. The next one, breaking news. 49ers released their 2017 cleats.
Well, San Fran.
You like that?
Don't drop your keys in San Francisco.
Breaking news. President Putin releases identity of the Russian spies who influenced the presidential election.
That's the truth right there. That's the reason.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room for 1 second, and then we'll need to do something maybe by, what's today? Monday? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
We'll do this. We'll do something on this on Thursday. Breaking news today was the latest attempt that they may, I don't know, they may try to stop this inauguration in the next 5 days, because breaking news was an MI6 agent who was hired by Republicans and Democrats trying to get dirt on Donald Trump have found that the Russians have admitted that they've compromised Donald Trump with compromising personal photos and compromised him with personal financial information. And that was in the report that went to Obama last week, and the report that went to Trump on Friday, a couple of days ago. And now they were asking Jeff Sessions, they were asking Jeff Sessions about it today, because there's another cabinet hearing going on for that. I forget what position it is, but for that Army guy. Did you hear about this? Oh,
this is the first time hearing about it.
Oh, you're gonna
kind of lived in a cave the last couple of days. I've been building.
You're gonna hear about this big time, especially on CNN, because they are pushing it. They got Jake Tapper. They got who's the reporter who helped break Bernstein. They got Carl Bernstein, and they got somebody else all doing the investigative stuff on this. And they're trying to say now that Trump's people were communicating with Putin's people, and that Putin's people have dirt on Trump that could compromise him. And if Congress gets involved, they could put a halt to the inauguration and say, whoa, wait a minute, this is big. We can't move forward just yet.
It's not going to happen.
Watch.
Not going to happen.
Watch the news. You'll see. Did you see my public service announcement?
Yes.
I think you saw that. Isn't that great?
Yes.
You never laugh at my funny stuff.
I don't know if I should, because my daughter's one of those that wears the pajama pants to Walmart.
I thought this was pretty funny. Never travel with this guy.
He's got the worst luck, doesn't he?
Yeah. Now, you don't have to like sympathy laugh at my stuff.
No, I get that one. That was a good one.
Okay.
I just felt bad for a minute for the double pajamas.
Okay. Things to do before I leave office: start a conflict with Russia, turn our back on Israel, cause more racial divide.
And that was just on his agenda for one day. He accomplished all that in one day.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard Zoe? Hold on. What's his name? Rachel. Zoe Rachel. Okay, hold on. I'm going to play this black guy for you. And I forget his name. Zoe Rachel. Oh, why? I used to listen to his vids all the time. You're going to dig this. And I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing or part of it, but you'll like it. And we'll probably get banned for playing it. Zoloft is what he's calling himself now.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. You've never heard of him?
Nope.
Man, get up here in the Zoloft and get your head right. Hey, what's snapping in? Or should I say what's crapping in? Anyway, welcome to the Zoloft. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
He's in a rock band too. 20-pound sledge, Christian guy.
Now, I'd like to examine Meryl Streep's remarks at the Golden Globes. The first observation I want to make is that microphone she's talking to is a dummy mic. Her actual hot mic is clipped on her posterior, so she can talk out of her donkey hole. Meryl Streep wasted time promoting a lie. Meryl Streep is another representative of an industry of make-believe. The job of your industry, Meryl, is to make stuff up. You people are paid professionals of producing fiction, which is fine, but the problem is too many of y'all don't know when to clock out. And what's even worse, too many of y'all check out more than you clock out. The people in the Hollywood entertainment industry are the most emotionally damaged group of alcoholics, drug-addicted, prescription-pumping, pompous posers out there. For too many of y'all, your very livelihood of escaping reality is too much reflected in your personal lives and personal views. And you're gonna assume to try to lecture us about reality? Somebody needs a reality check themselves, Demo. You're gonna try to give us the real deal about Trump's supposed remarks attacking a disabled person? Your remarks are slanderous, Meryl. Maybe if you would study the facts as well as you study your fictional scripts, you might have something better to say before you go on camera. Crikey, a dingo stole Meryl Streep's grip on reality, Demo. Boy, he's a sneaky fella. Maybe you ought to spend a little time in the editing bay, Meryl. You know, so you can see how the smoke and mirrors of editing are done to match two different events that don't have anything to do with each other look like they're pertinent to each other. But I digress, because sometimes all of a sudden you liberals know all about editing, like when you tried to accuse Breitbart of it. And Breitbart would even make the whole video available for you. And you could play the whole video, which would prove to be more damning than the shortened video. Y'all try to use that same editing excuse on James O'Keefe. Y'all try to say that the videos captured by David Delaney on Planned Parenthood discussing their baby poaching was edited. You liberals even took legal action against him for showing the truth. But Meryl Streep gets rewarded and applauded for promoting what was edited to be a lie? Maybe they really did think that Donald Trump was mocking a disabled person because he was mocking Ted Cruz to imply and gesture that Ted Cruz was speaking nonsense. And no, dang it, I'm not taking a swipe at Ted Cruz. I'm pointing out that these liberals think that Ted Cruz is an idiot. But admittedly, my theory falls flat because why would they want to take up for Ted Cruz? Oh, wait, because he's Cuban. You know, like y'all's hero, Castro. Just not evil like Castro. Not that you liberals know the difference. But in considering the disabled, you Democrats want to act like you're such a champion for the poor, defenseless, disabled people. And nobody cares about the little guy who can't stand up for themselves like the Democrats do, as you demand the so-called right to cut up a defenseless preborn kid in the womb and snatch out his body parts, you hypocrites. Then Meryl Streep wants to make the assertion that the martial arts, or mixed martial arts, isn't really the arts. The term martial arts comes from the so-called Grecian god of war, Ares, or whom the Romans call Mars, Mars being the root in the word martial. So when you're talking about the martial arts, you're talking about the art of war. And it's this very art that protects your pathetically used right to say the stupid stuff you say. The security details that protect you celebrities, the police, the military, have some study of the martial arts to protect you ingrates. So when it comes to the protection of your well-being, you might want to pay a little bit more respect to the martial arts, you condescending snob. I noticed that the martial arts is artsy enough when you celebrities want to do fancy fight scenes in their movies to make themselves look cool, as they pretend like they can fight while you insult those who actually study the art. Meryl Streep had the nerve to invoke Princess Leia in her little speech. Are you a Star Wars fan, Meryl? You mean that movie that incorporates the martial art of sword fighting? Oh, and people shooting at each other? Didn't Princess Leia get her shoot on in that movie too? Pew pew. But I get it. You probably don't find the sport of pugilism to be artful. I understand. Because I think it's pretty disgusting and distasteful what you entertainers often do with your art. The art of the guilt trip, the art of race baiting, the art of the exploitation of women, the art of gender confusion, the art of unequal work, unequal pay. Union workers and non-union workers can do the same job, but they're segregated and not paid the same, you hypocrites. The art of promoting sex all the freaking time, and then you wonder why people are stimulated to sexually abuse or sexually assault someone. Unless it's one of your liberal darlings sexually abusing a minor, then it's not really sexual abuse. Yeah, your industry is full of real artists. And for the record, we conservatives appreciate Americans from different places and different races. Color is what you liberals are hung up on. We actually believe in that thing of judging character, not color. And the only character y'all have a shallow understanding of is playing characters, not actual character. But I guess again, you forgot to clock out of your industry of make-believe and can't process the truth. But the biggest racist out there are you, as you constantly want to fuel your industry with the drama of the hatred of pitting people against each other based on race and making slanderous race-baiting claims and talking about deportation. Considering the curious legal status of the nannies and the housekeepers and the landscapers that you elitist liberals are the worst offenders of having and taking advantage of, that's what you elitist Democrats are bitterly worried about. We know how angry you Democrats get when Republicans take your servants away from you. But anyway, unfortunately, too many conservatives still say that nobody cares what these celebrities like Meryl Streep thinks. Y'all, she has lots of fans, and they do care what she thinks. They do have lots of influence. Please stop underestimating that. It's part of what got us into the mess we're in now. And actually, I'd like to briefly touch on this. The job of an actor or a musician is really very challenging. And that's if you can even get the gig. Being an entertainer may look like a cushy job, y'all, but there is a lot of work that goes into the preparation and the execution of a production. And again, that's if you can get past the cutthroat competition and the rejection to even get there. It takes a lot of work to make a character believable, just so somebody else can try to make themselves look cool by saying your work sucks. Like yours, though. Shut up, Demo. But it's a job that comes with difficulties just like any other job, and it's a difficult job. The problem is that they let the job go to their heads, and they end up being seduced by the popularity. And to keep the adoration of their fans, they take advantage of the attention that they give them and just say what's popular instead of saying what's right. Y'all, the entertainment profession, by its nature, is an influential profession. The job of an entertainer is to get and keep your attention. This includes having influence. So it's very naive to say that nobody cares what these people think. How do you think they got the way that they are? Because they were inspired and influenced by the poisonous ideals of other liberal entertainers before them, or have been browbeaten by other liberal colleagues in the industry. So please, stop fooling yourself into thinking that nobody cares what these people think. Underestimating your opponent is not a wise strategy. Thanks again for hanging out with me in the Zoloft, y'all. Be sure to share with your friends, family, even people who get on your nerves. Because remember, y'all, when you share and support my work, a little bit of leftism dies. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. You suck. Shut up, Demo.
And we shared that, and we are going to get so blocked on YouTube because they'll hit me for copyright like they always friggin' do.
No, we gave him, well, here's a thought. I mean, if you show it and you say it's theirs, we're not claiming it to be ours.
Oh, and he said to share.
Yeah, we were sharing it.
And YouTube will block me. Oh, fudge. Oh, we need to quit. We need to get off the air because we're already at an hour. But you know what I wanted to do really quick? We're just blow through this. Sports and ethics. Sports and ethics. Is there such a thing? Do you know who that is? Grayson Allen. Are you familiar with what this douchebag has been doing? Tripping other players. So he finally got suspended for one game from Krzyzewski, finally for one game, because he tripped 3 people. So he comes back on his very first game. He trips another player, and they complained and they looked at the tapes, and the NCAA said inconclusive. I've got the tape. I see if it's inconclusive. And the only reason I'm showing you this, Bill, the only reason I'm mentioning about sports and ethics is because this is what we're teaching our children, our kids, when they play. I mean, this comes straight from this kid's early upbringing or whatever. And then as coaches, because the kid could make a 3-point shot, we're just going to let him get away with this and say this is okay.
Got 6 here in the first half. That was his opening field goal. The lead is 20.
See that foot?
Kicking right in the nads.
Field goal. The lead
Lifted the foot to trip the guy, and that they said that's inconclusive. That was an accident.
How? That's very blatant. It kind of looked like he was trying to rack him.
It's the exact same move as this guy did the other 3 times that he finally got suspended for. He comes back and he does it again, and they go inconclusive. So the only reason why I say is this sports and ethics question is Where's our freaking ethics on teaching kids about good sportsmanship? I don't know. All right, last thing. I don't even know what this is, but I put it on there. Oh, playing sports. Bob says, play any dangerous sports? Well, sometimes I disagree with my wife. Yeah, that's a dangerous sport. It can be.
That very much can be.
So we're going to end on that. Bill, do you got anything before we go?
I think that's it for tonight. Just remember, iron sharpens iron.
What Bible verse is that?
That would be in Proverbs. And I had it pulled up, and then I switched it over to Revelation because we were talking Mark of the Beast. You would think I'd memorize it by now, but I am terrible about memorizing what verse is what. I mean, I can tell you what it says, but when it comes to the actual numbers.
Iron sharpens iron. In other words, bros keeping each other accountable, dog to dog, keeping each other accountable like we did tonight. Because I came in a piss-ass bad mood, and we ended up talking about some good stuff. And
it only gets better from here.
So much so that I almost pulled my man card because I got so soft. So I changed the subject. All right. So I don't have this fully loaded yet.
Turn out the lights.
But we're getting there.
The
I will start loading a real show from now on. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff to do for me to load the show. I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy being me, Bill.
Call it a night. The party's
over. But we got to start singing, and I'm not going to sing tonight. Appreciate you joining us, everybody. Appreciate you watching on YouTube. We just appreciate.
Have a blessed week, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Out.